Okay, so let's jump right in. We're doing a bit of consumer detective work today with a deep dive into a site called Weluxy.com. They sell lingerie, shapewear, that kind of thing. And the big question for you is pretty simple. Is this a scam or is it legit?
Right. And, at first glance, the site looks okay. It passes the basic checks.
Like what are you seeing initially?
Well, it's using a secure connection. You see that little padlock in the browser bar. The design itself is actually quite professional, and they do have a return policy listed.
But a professional look doesn't mean it's trustworthy, especially with these kinds of products.
Exactly. A polished website is easy to make. We need to look past the surface.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What are the red flags here, the things that stop you from, fully trusting them?
There are three main things, and they all kind of circle around history and transparency.
Sure.
First, the site is just very, very new, hasn't been around long enough to build up any real reputation.
So there's no track record.
None. And second, and this is a big one for me, the owner of the site is hidden. They're using privacy protection, so you have no idea who is actually behind the company.
And the third thing would have to be the lack of reviews, right? In the world of online shopping for clothes, that feels like a huge obstacle.
It's a massive obstacle.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you're buying a swimsuit, you want to see reviews about the fit, the fabric, if the color's right.
Yeah, does it run small? Does it fall apart after one wash?
Exactly. Without those reviews from other customers, you're flying blind. You are completely trusting the site's own descriptions. And that risk leads us right into their policies.
Right, because they do have a return policy, but it's pretty strict, isn't it? What should you know about that?
So here's the catch. The policy for things like underwear and swimwear is final sale, unless the item is defective.
Which is somewhat standard for hygiene, I guess?
It is, but think about the context. You're taking a chance on a totally unknown brand with no reviews to guide you on sizing. And the policy says if it doesn't fit, well, you're stuck with it. That's a pretty big gamble for you to take.
So when you put it all together, it doesn't exactly scream scam because they have the secure site and a policy. But where do we land?
We land in a risky gray area. I wouldn't call it a definite scam,
Yeah.
but I would absolutely classify it as a high-risk purchase. It's an unknown company with policies that don't favor the customer if something goes wrong.
That makes sense. Okay, so if you're listening and you're still curious, maybe you found a design you really love, what are the concrete steps you can take to lower that risk?
All right, you have to be very methodical. First, obviously use a payment method with strong buyer protection. A credit card, PayPal, something like that.
The standard advice.
Yes, but here's a detail. When you go to checkout, pay attention to the name of the payment processor. If it's some generic or totally unrelated name, that's another little warning sign.
Okay, good tip. What else?
Second, and this is non-negotiable, your first purchase has to be small. I mean, really small. One low-cost item.
You're not just testing the product at that point, you're testing their whole system.
Exactly. The goal is to test the entire process. Did they send tracking info? How long did shipping really take? If they mess up a $10 order, you know for sure not to place a $100 one.
And the last step.
Document everything.
Hmm.
Because of that strict return policy, you need proof. Take screenshots of the product page, the size chart you used, and the return policy itself right when you buy it. That's your only real leverage if you need to argue that an item was defective.
So you're turning a gamble into a controlled experiment. We've laid out the risks and the defense plan for Weluxy.com. So the final choice, of course, is up to you.
And this all brings up a final bigger question for you to think about. When you find a new site like this one that looks so professional and polished but has zero community reputation, how do you weigh those two things? What's the real cost of being an early adopter when aesthetics and trust are on opposite sides of the scale?